Area 51 became infamous due to UFO and alien sighting events. Some believe that Area 51 is a human territory, where not only collaboration with aliens to develop future technology occurs, but also experiments on extraterrestrial life are conducted. Its mystery and secrecy are such that not even a bird could fly in. If anyone tries to enter Area 51, they would receive a clear shoot-to-kill order. Clearly, the US government doesn't want secrets to be exposed. What exactly is hidden within Area 51 that requires such tight security? Is it truly related to alien experiments, or is there something else behind it? Today, I will provide a thorough description. Satellite maps show that Area 51 is wedged between vast deserts and desolate mountains, far from any city. If someone were to go to Area 51, they would have to drive at least 250 kilometers along a deserted highway, encountering almost no other living beings. The security level of Area 51 is extremely high. If anyone who has ever worked there tries to unveil its secrets, their fate would either be mysterious death, or the US government denouncing all their claims, including their identity. In 2014, a seasoned scientist named Boyd Bushman attempted to reveal the secrets of Area 51. He claimed he worked with aliens there, and participated in an anti-gravity propulsion project aimed at creating a spaceship capable of overcoming gravity. To prove his claims, Bushman provided some evidence. He displayed some photos of aliens supposedly taken in Area 51, and sketches of the technology he was researching. However, the US government refuted all his evidence. A few days later, Bushman mysteriously died. But how much of what Bushman said is true? If he was lying, why would a 78-year-old seasoned scientist fabricate a story on his deathbed? Another person named Bill Newhouse, a former engineer for the US military and government agencies, claimed before his death that he worked on reverse engineering alien technology at the S4 site of Area 51. He said he had direct contact with aliens during his work. There are several alien crafts within Area 51, where they mainly research and decode anti-gravity technology. He said the alien he worked with was named Joerg, a pilot of a UFO, who could communicate with humans via telepathy. Yet, facing Newhouse's statements, the US government persistently rebuffed his claims as entirely fabricated. Additionally, former US National Laboratory scientist and physicist Bob Lazar also made similar statements, claiming he worked on reverse engineering alien technology at the S4 site of Area 51 in 1989, specifically studying anti-gravity propulsion systems. However, after making these statements, the National Laboratory claimed they have never employed Lazar. Some supporters believe that due to Lazar's revelation of highly classified information, the US government might have erased his employment and education records to undermine his credibility. Nonetheless, it is certain that something the US government doesn't want to discuss or disclose has happened in Area 51. If we go back to mid-1947, that year the US experienced a nationwide UFO sighting shock. On June 24, 1947, a private pilot named Kenneth Arnold reported seeing 9 mysterious flying objects while flying across the mountains near Seattle, describing these objects as the object shone like a saucer and flew at an exceptional speed. This event became the first public UFO sighting report in history. About 2 weeks after this incident, a farmer named Mac Brazel near Roswell, New Mexico, reported to the US military that he had found some debris from an unidentified object in his field. Jesse Marcel, an intelligence officer from the Roswell Army Airfield, arrived at the scene to collect the debris and took it back to the base. The next day, on July 8, 1947, the US military issued a news release stating that the Roswell Army Airfield had recovered a UFO's wreckage, claiming that a UFO had crashed due to a severe storm. However, the next day, the military suddenly changed their story, asserting that the so-called UFO debris was merely a weather balloon. The nature of the incident was downplayed, and people gradually forgot about it. But 31 years later, the Roswell incident resurfaced in a new form. Glenn Dennis, the founder of the International UFO Museum, claimed that one of his friends who worked as a nurse at the Roswell Army Airfield had witnessed military doctors performing autopsies on some strange creatures in the examination room. These beings, although humanoid, had unusually strange bodies, standing about 3 to 4 feet tall, with thin limbs and abnormally large heads and eyes. UFO investigators speculated that on that day in 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield might not only have collected UFO debris, but also discovered alien bodies, which were eventually sent to Area 51 for research. In 1978, the renowned physicist and UFO researcher Stan Friedman interviewed Marcel, the person who picked up the wreckage from the crash site. Marcel stated that the debris did not look like anything from Earth. It was a metal sheet, as thin as paper, incredibly tough. It could not be bent. In the US, UFO sightings are quite common, but most of these sightings occur around Nevada, near Area 51. Everyone is curious about the secrets of Area 51, and people have already deeply linked aliens with Area 51. One can't help but wonder whether this is a propaganda or a hoax. Is the US government deliberately making the public believe that there is a connection between Area 51 and aliens? Or are they indirectly covering up the true information about aliens? We know nothing but the tip of the iceberg. To understand these issues more deeply, we need to review history first. Interestingly, I found that there were no records of UFO sightings globally before the outbreak of World War II. As I mentioned, UFOs were first seen on June 24, 1947. Before that, no one knew what a UFO was, and after 1947, UFO sightings became commonplace. So, when were the aliens before World War II? Did they visit only the US after 1947? The US ended World War II by dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But this action also escalated tensions with the Soviet Union. Due to their vastly different ideologies, the Cold War began between the US and the Soviet Union, leading both countries to enhance their weapons and engage in espionage. The US was eager to create spy planes to monitor the Soviet Union. They also hoped these planes could carry out missions undetected. Thus, the US urgently needed a secret base far from public view and not easily monitored by Soviet spies. In the 1950s, America found such a hidden place between the deserts and mountains of Nevada and chose to build Area 51 there. To monitor the Soviets, the US created many aircraft like the U-2 spy plane. But the CIA had a concern about how to test these planes without attracting public attention and suspicion. What are these planes? How should they respond? So, the CIA linked the concepts of aliens and UFOs with these aircraft. People kept claiming to see UFOs near Area 51, and the CIA used this to cover their secret operations. The US was worried about a Soviet nuclear attack, so they focused on making high-speed, high-altitude planes that were hard to detect by radar and immune to anti-aircraft missiles. This was the U-2 spy plane, which was America's most important spy plane at the time. Through this plane, the US successfully conducted espionage on the Soviet Union for several years, but on May 1, 1960, the Soviets shot down a US U-2 plane with a missile, leading America to develop a faster, higher-flying plane. Lockheed S-27 was developed amid the constant fear of nuclear attacks between the two nations, which influenced people's lives. This is why America started spying on the Soviet Union and building spy planes. The CIA made up a believable story for the public to carry out their covert missions under this cover. So when UFO sightings occurred, the CIA neither confirmed nor denied them, allowing new conspiracy theories to flourish, and Area 51 became controversial. People began to believe that the area was a base for studying aliens. Going back to the Roswell incident, the initial report claimed a UFO had crashed, but the CIA knew that government acknowledgement of aliens visiting Earth could cause public panic, so they delayed the report by a day. The next day, they changed the story to a weather balloon crash. However, the truth about Roswell was revealed in 1994, when a US Air Force report disclosed that they were conducting a secret project called Mogul, involving releasing balloons equipped with various sensors to monitor Soviet atomic bomb tests. It was not a weather balloon. It was a surveillance balloon. The government concealed this to avoid public panic over the nuclear attack threat. No matter how many years pass, many people still believe Area 51 is for studying aliens. They have their beliefs. This resulted in a humorous event dubbed Invade Area 51. The event called for people to gather at Area 51 at 3 p.m. on September 20, 2019, jokingly suggesting that if the military fired at us, we would scatter like mice. Although initially perceived as a joke, 200,000 people expressed their intent to participate. In response, the US had to deploy extra special forces on the day of the event. However, only a few thousand people showed up, and they did not enter Area 51, but instead held a quiet, alien-themed music party outside.